So if you've been working on the practices we talked about on my previous video, benefits of sexual discipline and how to avoid lust, but somehow, you still hit a point where you want to slip up or whenever you feel overwhelmed by urges, don't worry. It's part of the process. Every man who practices brahmacharya or sexual discipline have experienced what you're going through. Though I've got some practical strategies coming up that can help you extend your streak and keep moving forward. Before I start, we need to dissect and determine or even name these urges. According to Swami Sivananda, who wrote Practice of Brahmacharya, he first instructed his students and disciples to some few steps to understand their sexual urges and sexual impulse better. 1. Understand that the desire to have children comes from the reproductive instinct, while the urge to have sex comes from a sexual instinct. 2. Recognize that the strength of sexual impulse is a strong mental force. 3. Know that this impulse is energy, sudden and powerful. Just as petrol moves an engine, instincts move the body. 4. Realize that all human actions start from such inner impulses, which create habits and shape your life. 5. See that attraction between men and women begins small, like a bubble, but grows into a powerful wave of passion. 6. Be aware that this attraction is compared to a nervous itch. Scratching gives temporary pleasure, but satisfying it harms spiritual, mental, and physical health. 7. Understand that lust uses 5 arrows: fascination, fixation, intoxication, obsession, and burning desire, each making passion stronger. 8. Notice that beauty, perfumes, romance, and media can trigger these arrows and weaken your judgment. 9. When passion rises, reason and wisdom disappear. People lose control, even the wise. 10. Know that every sexual act leaves a deep impression from the past that's stored in the mind. 11. These impressions create thoughts, which strengthen hidden desires. 12. Memories of pleasure reawaken desire. Like a tiger that's tasted blood, the mind craves more. 13. Imagination and intimate memories feed emotional impulses, leading to attachment. Now, to stop this cycle, practice meditation, self-inquiry, and avoid feeding lustful thoughts. By controlling the mind early, you can prevent the impulse from growing and stay spiritually balanced. Though these words are not enough even for me, so I have personalized some few tips or advice for you to follow whenever you feel an urge, regardless if it's mild or intense. Here's some of my personal advice how to remain sexually disciplined when a storm of lustful urges comes out of nowhere. Just to clarify, to basically understand deeper what we are going to dive into, I recommend to watch first my other video, The Benefits of Sexual Discipline and How to Avoid Lust. Skip and go straight to the middle of the video so you'll see the segment, How to Avoid Lust. Because these following practices we are about to delve into are just some of my personal complementary tips on top of that video, and the basic principles are within that previous video. Consider this a continuation of that video. So let's dive in. As of now, I'll give out 2 common scenarios when getting hit by urges. The first scenario is when you are alone in your room or in any private place you can be. And the second scenario, whenever you're isolated with a woman, regardless of place. For the first scenario, here are some few advice that personally helped me extend my streaks. Being alone and spending time in solitude can be deeply beneficial for your mental peace and emotional well-being. Intentional isolation, free from distractions, allows you to reconnect with yourself, reflect, recharge, and gain clarity. It creates space for self-awareness, personal growth, and inner strength. However, during these quiet moments, especially when you're grappling with sadness, loneliness, heartbreak, rejection, or feelings of emptiness, powerful urges can arise unexpectedly, like a sudden gust of wind. As a man, I've noticed that sexual urges often surface most intensely during times of emotional vulnerability. When I'm scrolling through social media while sitting with difficult emotions, the shadow of loneliness, anxiety, or depression, these impulses can feel overwhelming. They don't just appear, they take over. In those moments, lust can cloud rational thinking, hijack self-control, and make it feel like my hands move on their own, pulling me toward instant gratification. But before acting on impulse, I remind myself, There is always light beyond the darkness. That light is self-knowledge, hard-earned experience, and the return to logical, grounded thinking. To protect that light, I must not run from the shadow, but face it. This means confronting the deeper emotional wounds, insecurities, and traumas that fuel the urge in the first place. I've learned this through experience. Giving in doesn't heal the pain. It only drains the mental energy, focus, creativity, and motivation I've worked so hard to build. Each time I feel the pull, I remember the consequences of PMO, pornography, masturbation, orgasm, during weak moments, how it dulls my drive, weakens my confidence, and sets me back. So I hold on to this truth: don't lose your light in the pursuit of temporary relief. The urge will pass. But if you act on it, you risk sacrificing long-term growth for short-term escape. My saving grace is a deep, gut-level awareness. If I give in now, I will pay the price later. And that awareness, the light within, is what keeps me grounded, disciplined, and moving forward. So, each time I feel I want to engage into sexual acts, I keep this light with me, this gut feeling that if I give in to the urge I'm going through right now, I would only feel the negative effects of PMO, which I've also talked about in my other video, negative effects of excessive sex and PMO. And by scratching this itch, entertaining the urge, I know within my core that it will only delay all my progress I've accumulated. Or worse, if I give in and empty the clip or binge relapse, just to numb or escape those painful, shadowy emotions, like loneliness, rejection, or heartbreak, which I know it doesn't lead to healing but only feeds a cycle. The more I indulge these lustful impulses, the more it pulls me into obsession, fixation, and addiction. It becomes a trap. I squander my energy, focus, and vitality, my life essence, on temporary relief, only to feel emptier afterward. Instead of giving in, I choose to break the spell. I close the app, put the phone down, stop fantasizing, and stop physical stimulation. Then, I do 10 to 20 jumping jacks. Yes, seriously. I do this no matter the moment. First thing in the morning with an erection, or late at night when urges strike. It works because physical movement disrupts the mental loop and redirects energy. Why jumping jacks? When sexual urges arise, the body's energy, especially in the sacral chakra, tends to sink downward, reinforcing lust and instinctual behavior. Jumping jacks reverse that flow. The up and down motion helps redirect that powerful sexual energy upward, transforming it into vitality, focus, and strength. It's a physical act of reclaiming control. Meditation helps too, but during intense emotional distress or depression, the mind can be too restless to sit still. That's when movement becomes essential. As Carl Jung taught, you must face your shadow, not repress it, not act it out, but integrate it. This practice is part of that integration, using discipline to transform raw desire into self-mastery. Jumping jacks are more accessible than push-ups for most people, especially when you're just waking up or preparing for bed, when energy levels are low or your body isn't warmed up. Unlike push-ups, jumping jacks don't require you to support your full body weight on your arms, which many find difficult. The legs are naturally stronger than the arms, so movements involving the lower body, like jumping jacks, can be performed with greater ease and immediate intensity, especially if you're in a small space. By simply jumping and moving your arms up and down in rhythm, you quickly elevate your heart rate, shift your focus, and disrupt the mental loop of lustful thoughts. This physical burst acts as a circuit breaker, redirecting sexual energy and helping you regain mental clarity. You don't need to lie on the floor or strain your upper body. You can do it instantly, right where you are. While push-ups or pull-ups can also help, they're not always practical in the moment. Jumping jacks offer a fast, efficient, and universally doable way to shake off the urge and reclaim your focus, so you can move forward with your day or rest peacefully without losing your discipline. If jumping jacks alone don't fully subside the urge, deep, heavy breathing becomes a powerful ally, provided you also avoid lustful visuals, thoughts, and actions. When I say deep breathing, I mean fully inhaling and fully exhaling repetitively for at least 2 minutes. You can do it rapidly if you need to calm physical arousal quickly, or slowly if you're pairing it with meditation to clear mental temptation. This practice works because deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts the excited, impulsive state driven by lust. It helps regain mental clarity, reduce physical tension, and redirect energy upward instead of letting it pool in the lower body. Combined with total avoidance of triggers, it forms a practical, immediate toolkit to reclaim control, especially during vulnerable moments like waking up, preparing for sleep, or when you're privately alone. If the previous techniques aren't enough and the urge remains strong, here's a powerful mental hack. Vividly imagine something deeply repulsive or a foul stench, like a rotting uncooked egg you just cracked open, a decaying raw fish corpse from an aquarium, a dead rat in your shoe, or the smell of overflowing garbage juice splashing on your foot as you throw it out. This mental shift triggers disgust, a natural psychological and physiological counterforce to sexual arousal. Scientific research supports this. Exposure to disgusting stimuli, especially smells, has been shown to significantly reduce both subjective and physical signs of arousal in men, even when already sexually excited. The brain struggles to maintain lust when confronted with strong aversive imagery or sensations. You can buy a fart spray and smell it whenever you're horny. I'm just kidding though, but nobody's stopping you, nobody will know, and I bet it will work. If you're still struggling with sexual urges and find it hard to imagine repulsive smells, shifting to vivid mental imagery of things that scare or horrify you can be just as effective. Picture something intensely unsettling, like a swarm of cockroaches crawling in your bedsheets, a venomous snake behind your pillow, giant spiders above your ceiling, or a terrifying scene from a horror movie that once deeply disturbed you. These images trigger fear, a powerful emotional response that naturally overrides arousal. Fear activates the body's stress response, which disrupts the physiological state of sexual excitement. It redirects focus, increases alertness, and suppresses the drive for pleasure by signaling danger instead. While fear isn't something to live in, using it intentionally in this moment helps break the spell of lust and reclaim control. So yes, fear can be a tool. In the battle to preserve your energy and focus, confronting a mental image of horror is far better than giving in and losing your power. If the previous techniques still don't quiet the urge, here's another mental tool. Vividly imagine someone you find deeply unattractive or even repulsive, someone you'd never be intimate with. This could be a close friend's grandmother, movie characters like Penguin and Pennywise, or any person you instinctively view as completely off-limits, excluding ex-partners. While it may sound humorous, this method works by triggering a psychological aversion response, which disrupts sexual arousal. By replacing lustful imagery with a strong mental contrast, you break the spell of desire and regain control. This isn't about disrespect, but about self-mastery, using your mind to redirect energy away from impulse and toward discipline. This helped me extend my streak. It helped me achieve a year of no PMO and sexual abstinence, and I've been practicing for 4 years now. And I can say to myself that this is one way of facing the inner shadow. It became very helpful in achieving tasks and projects I never knew I could do. I'm hoping these methods can help others like you to stay committed to the path of self-mastery and sexual discipline. If you can't manage to avoid your urges after trying these techniques we talked about, and after watching my other vids about sexual discipline and lustful avoidance, then clearly, you have already made up your mind. You've already chosen to accept the consequences, the loss of your vital energy, your focus, and your inner strength. The loss of your ticket to being a whole man. The Buddha emphasized that no one can save you but yourself. In the Dhammapada, he said, oneself is one's own protector. Who else could be the protector? By self alone is one purified. No one else can purify another. He also told his disciples to work out your own salvation with diligence. This means liberation, freedom from craving, suffering, and self-sabotage, comes not from gods, gurus, or external saviors, but from relentless personal effort, mindfulness, and inner discipline. The path is yours alone to walk. This channel serves merely as a map, a guide to help you unlock the hidden treasures and capabilities within yourself through the practice of sexual discipline and the transmutation of your accumulated life force. By mastering this energy, we can improve every aspect of our lives and, collectively, elevate in this realm of suffering. To realize Maya and avoid samsara. Now, let's address a second, more complex scenario. Maintaining this discipline while in a relationship. How do you avoid losing your progress when you are isolated with a partner? How can you remain intimate with a girlfriend or wife without falling back into purely lustful patterns that drain your energy? This is a profound topic that deserves its own dedicated exploration, as the dynamics shift significantly when a partner is involved. I need your input. Do you want a deep dive into how couples can practice sexual discipline together? Share your thoughts in the comment section below if you are interested in this topic or have experiences to share. Your feedback will determine if I create a follow-up video on navigating sexual discipline within a partnership. If you found value in this message, please like, share it with friends who need to hear it, and subscribe to help spread this awareness. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.